everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Michelle and I do 5-star book reviews, and today I'm doing a very special episode because we've lost a president. And I woke up to that news this morning just like everybody else, and all I could think about was this book right here. Look at this book. This is one of the best books I've read on presidents, and it's about George H.W., written by George W. This book came out in 2014, and I read it right away. Look at this picture of them on the back. Isn't that amazing? Uh, um, I'm so emotional about this because, first of all, I love presidents. For all the history that I've taught, I really just love presidents. I've read a lot of books on the presidents in teaching history, and my memory of him was living on Andrews Air Force Base during the Persian Gulf War. I was pregnant with my daughter Kara. My husband at the time, Brian, was working for the Secretary of the Navy, but he was waiting to see if he was going to get called up to go over to the Persian Gulf. And I remember watching him on TV every night, and I just trusting him. I really did. I don't know. There was just something about him. I would watch him and I'd be like, you know what? Whatever he says, whatever he says, and I'm good, right? So there are so many reasons I can tell you to read this. But if you're wondering, if you're thinking he died and you're like, I don't know that much about him, this is it. This is the book to get, okay? Written by his son. Let's just look at this picture one more time. All right, I'm going to read some excerpts, and they're going to be in front of you, and I'm going to read them from my phone. So the first page, the prologue, is really, really good because it talks about why W decided to write this book about his dad. He was visiting with Dory McCullough, whose dad was David McCullough. Okay, and they were reminiscing, and George was really good friends with David McCullough. And she says, after updating on her father's health and projects, Dory said, you should know that one of my father's great regrets in studying John Adams is that there was no serious account of him by his son, John Quincy Adams. She knew, of course, my connection to John Quincy. We are the only sons of presidents who have served as presidents ourselves. For history's sake, she said, I think you should write a book about your father. And for you guys who don't know a lot about W, he was so inspiring to me because when he was president, I had read that he was reading a book a day. And I was like, how does he do that? Until I started reading a book a day. And then I was like, oh, okay. I get it, except for he's president and I'm not. But I was raising 6 kids and I was reading a book a day, right? Now I read at least a book a day. So, he writes really well. I mean, it's not shocking. Our presidents do write well, but this book is so good. The writing is so good. He is funny. I laughed. I cried. I didn't want it to end. Okay. And I learned more about him than I'd ever known. So I'm going to read the next section. Okay. So the first part of the first chapter, it says, in late May 2014, I received a phone call from Jean Becker, my father's longtime chief of staff. She got straight to the point. Your dad wants to make a parachute jump on his 90th birthday. What do you think? Okay, that was him, okay? Because he served in World War II. He was a World War II hero. He was a pilot. There's so much you don't know about him, okay? And the last part I'm going to read is the last part of chapter 1. The last paragraph of the chapter 1. George H.W. Bush enlisted on June 12, 1942, his 18th birthday. 2 months later, his father accompanied him to Penn Station in New York, where he would board a train to North Carolina to commence his training. As my father stood on the platform, the stern and imposing Prescott Bush wrapped his son in a hug. For the first time in his life, Dad saw his father cry. And that is just to give you guys a little bit of, a little look into his writing, okay? I can't say enough. I love this book so much, and it was the first thing I thought of. I was like, I got to tell everybody because I know there are going to be books out there now, that are going to be like biographies of him. But who better to read a biography than by W, who knew him, right? Who was his son. So let's look at the back one more time. Look at that picture. It is so good. There, the binding, 41. He will forever be 41, George 41. And so we're going to be mourning him this week. His funeral is on Wednesday, and I really suggest before then reading this, and I think you'll get so much out of the service. So thank you, everyone. Hit like if you like this video, hit subscribe. I put out videos every single day. Have a great day, everyone.